What's going on, guys? It is the 8th of November. So Tuesday, I'm in Utah right now. I've got my group. I'm bringing the closing part of my team together. We're working on operational procedures. We've gone through the entire process from the very beginning, from the phone call, the initial connection that we have to a client, or somebody who reached out and said they're looking to pre-qualify for another property or looking to expand their holdings with more real estate. From that initial contact all the way to funding. So we're reworking everything. The benefit of having a slowdown within the market is you have the capability of being able to work on your systems. And so we're spending a lot of time and a lot of energy, actually going probably up on 120 days now, really digging deep. The operational procedure has been rewritten for my entire team so we can be more efficient. And that efficiency is going to yield better results for you as a real estate investor. Now, what's crazy here is my team's ones handled all of the write-up on this because I don't know everything they do anymore. I'm starting to get a little further removed from the day-to-day single actions that are being taken. And what you have here, from what I understand, it's like 120 pages. And it's not just 120 pages written out. You have hyperlinks to next steps and all these things. It's pretty wild what they have developed. And I'm pretty damn impressed with what my team did. So you will start to see the fruits of that labor here within the next couple of months, and you'll start seeing the benefits. So if you think we're efficient now, man, I can't wait to see your reaction later when you guys come back and do more deals with us. Now let's talk about what's going on in the market today. Election, right? So I don't know how this is going to play out. I have no real predictions. I'm going to stay out of prediction on what's going to happen with when this is all settled out and the votes are all tallied. But here's the one thing I'm thinking, right? And this comes from also reading some other thought processes from other folks. Depending upon how this all plays out, we could have a lot of holdup and passing of bills, depending upon how it's all stacked up as far as which side is what and what the count is for Democrats versus Republicans or independents or whatever we have. So if it changes how those seats are with the current administration trying to push through certain spending bills, that's going to possibly get stifled. If that gets stifled, that's good for inflation. Because right now, one of the reasons we have inflation through the roof is because of all the ridiculous spending coming out of Washington, the insane amount of money that's flowing out there. They're creating money for nothing. 40%. We've heard the statistic: 40% of the currency that's in circulation right now in the U.S. And of course, the dollar being circulated across the globe was created in the last 18 months, or in an 18-month period. I don't know if it's the last 18 months, but within an 18-month period. That's damned alarming. And they're being created just to spend on whatever pet project they're creating, or adding all these things into these bills that are creating more and more spending routes, if you will. So as a result of that, we could see inflation come down because they're not going to be spending as much because these bills are going to get stifled a bit. So there is that. We also have CPI coming out tomorrow. We're going to see what's going on with inflation itself. So how that's going to affect bonds, we'll see how that all plays out. But right now, bonds are doing very, very good today. So what we have is, I've labeled a couple of things. I've labeled the ceiling here, resistance that traders are looking for. We got this big trading range. We got the support down at the bottom. So we've also got what is referred to as a pendant pattern. This downward trend that's been going for a long period of time. But now we offer this very, very, very slight upward trend that's been happening. And then we're getting squeezed. And what's interesting is we got squeezed this morning to the upside, which is good to be squeezed to the upside. If we get squeezed to the downside, then you see potential risk get drive all the way down here, back into these lower points like we were here. So, but I'm not convinced that this will hold. We don't know. It could be something where it's trying, but then it gets pulled back. And that's not a good sign either. If it gets pulled back into this, we'll get squeezed again tomorrow. So if it gets pulled back into this, we could see tomorrow being the day pushing one way or the other. And that's when we're starting. Maybe we'll have election results at that point, not 100% certain. And who knows? We may have them by the time this is published. So it's one of those really interesting points. I'm not convinced that we're not going to stay in this very, very long pattern of going downward and bouncing off the bottom. But for right now, we're in a good spot. If you're in a position to lock, I always say start looking at those locks. If you are thinking about the ARM, go back and look at my rants about the ARM. I'm not convinced that it's a good move, guys. It's cheap. It looks good. It's sexy. It draws you in. But man, when has anything that is cheap and sexy to draw you in ever been good for you in the long term? I don't know of anything out there that has. So think about that. Consider those things when you're kicking that idea around. Sure, it's expensive right now, but it's expensive with what? Expensive with the US dollar. It's losing value anyway, and be able to buy a long-term instrument, which again, Warren Buffett says is the greatest financial instrument in history, the 30-year fix. It's a one-way bet, guys. If you bet and you're wrong, so you refinance. If you bet and you're right, you've protected yourself. I don't know that rates are going to get that awesome that we're going to go back and even see remotely close to the rates we're at right now. So appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you subscribing. And we'll see how this whole thing plays out over the next little while.